Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub. Waddling Dog has the busy fall season covered. Come cheer on the Canucks, Lions, Whitecaps, Seahawks, all while enjoying one of their 19 taps, including beer, wine, and cider. Check out the daily happy hour from 4 to 6, every UFC pay-per-view, and attached liquor store and hotel. Also, don't forget to grab some Donnie and Dolly merchandise as well. The Dog is the place to be this sports season as we bring in TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Bad. I started off my winter shoveling season this morning. It only took me about 40 minutes to get the driveway and the sidewalk and the pathway all cleared off. But hey, it's winter. That's just what I got to get used to.
And let's set the record straight. You were shoveling snow, right?
Yes, I was shoveling snow. Unless I go up to Brian Sutter or Brent Sutter's ranch, I won't be shoveling anything but snow.
Yeah, well, people accuse us of shoveling other things on the show.
Oh,
Craig.
yeah.
The Pride tape ban and the NHL, just moments ago we found out they're doing away with it. What were they thinking with the ban in the first place, Craig?
Well, and I think that's the question that still has not been answered. And, I know that Commissioner Bettman talked about, not wanting to have distractions. Well, we talked about this, Donnie and Rick. They were looking for a solution where there was never a problem. And so they created their own problem by trying to look somewhere for it. And we look at Travis Dermott and him stepping up and saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And he had a very good commentary about the equipment managers and whatnot. But we find ourselves on this day in the right place. And the right place is that the NHL and the NHLPA have agreed that this is not where they want to be, nor should this be a place they are. And now we can move forward. And, allyship and support. And they talked about causes. Like, it's not just, the Pride tape. It's the players now will have a choice. And Cale Makar also had a really good how he said 99% of the players in the league, appear to be supportive of this. And they're the ones that get all the backlash because of a few. So let's not let the few dictate for the many.
Marty Walsh was involved in this development, relatively new head of the NHLPA. He didn't waste any time with it. Same thing with the Mike Babcock situation. What's the early word on his leadership amongst the players, Craig?
Well, I think what you see through the actions, Donnie, is that Marty Walsh is going to take the initiative. That Marty Walsh is not going to take a back seat, that if it's something that he feels is important to address, that he's going to address it. I think it also speaks to establishing a dialogue with the league. The league didn't have any history with Marty Walsh, and Marty Walsh didn't have any history with the league. So trying to develop that relationship, trying to develop an understanding of what's important to each party, and then continuing through the dialogue to explore solutions, I think is a real positive sign with Marty Walsh as the new head of the NHLPA.
Hey, Craig, Canucks Twitter is gathered together, and they are all defending Quinn Hughes. So there were some polls that came out that said Quinn Hughes isn't a top 10 defenseman. Where do you got Quinn Hughes when you rank a defenseman in the NHL? And I don't want Canucks Twitter to be all over you, Craig, but where do you have Hughes ranked as one of the best defensemen in the NHL?
Well, Rick, I'm never disappointed in you, and today is not a day that I'm going to express disappointment in you. But I'm on the record, as a voter in the end of season awards. You can go look at where I put Quinn Hughes on my Norris Trophy ballot.
Yep.
I will tell you where I had him. He was number 3 on my ballot.
Wow.
So I don't think I have to say anything more about what I think about Quinn Hughes. Now, what I will say is that the problem we have in voting is that we have too many voters that after 10 o'clock Eastern time, they don't watch anything else going on in the NHL.
Yep.
And so, you get commentary from people that haven't watched and don't know, and they should just be ignored. And that's where I sit. And so Quinn Hughes, to me, He was third on my ballot last year.
Craig, what do you think about the story about the NHL draft making changes? They don't want everybody. They want to do it more like the NFL. They don't want everybody to get together in one place. There's a possibility that they may change that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm all for exploring different ways to do things differently, and I'm not against it. But the NHL draft is unique. The NHL draft is one where everybody is gathered under the same roof of an NHL arena. And, the players and their families are all sitting in the stands. Friends, teammates are in the stands. The scouts who operate in anonymity for the most part. They have their moment in the spotlight, so to speak, as, you see the people go up on the stage. I think it's really unique. I think it's really special, and I don't think it should be changed. End of story. I don't know on what basis they want to change it. Like, I'd like to hear one good reason why they want to change it. And again, I guess like tonight with 16 teams, 16 games with all 32 teams, the NFL does a lot of things well, but they don't do everything well. So why do we always want to follow the NFL?
Well, my next question, Craig, was going to be, what do you think of of the frozen frenzy? 16 games, all 32 teams, staggered starts. Is this a smart idea?
The NHL Network for years has done NHL on the fly, where they've done the whip around the league. Yep. So now you're going to start games 15 minutes apart. Great. Vancouver Canucks fans are going to be watching the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Montreal Canadiens fans are going to be watching the Montreal. They're not whipping around to watch what's going around in the league, and that's the way it is. Listen, ESPN wants to try to do a red zone thing. Great, it's wonderful. It's been done by the NHL Network for years with NHL on the fly, staggering games 15 minutes apart. Great. The NFL red zone works because you have all the games starting at the same time at 1 o'clock Eastern, and then you have the late games. And now when you whip around, every play starts and stops in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so you can have a 4th and 2. You can have a touchdown. You can have an intercept. What are they going to show? An intercepted pass at the blue line? Are they going to show a turnover in the neutral zone? Like, seriously. Again, like, I get it. Like, okay, try something. It's just a little gimmick. And to me, it doesn't even have any type of real what I would call roots in terms of hockey fans. And hockey fans are going to root for their team. There's no fantasy either in hockey for the most part. Fantasy football also works for the red zone. Not working in hockey, whoopee-doo.
So, Craig, if I'm not mistaken, you're not for this. I think I've got that straight. But isn't there some room for fun and experimentation? Maybe it surprises you and works out.
Okay, like I'm always for fun. I believe in fun. I believe in innovation. I don't think that starting games 15 minutes apart with the idea that you can watch all the games, like hockey's very different. It's a continuous sport. And while I appreciate what ESPN is trying to do, try to be creative in different ways. Don't just be followers. Be leaders. And I don't think this is a leading. The NHL Network has done this for 20 years. NHL on the fly. This is not new.
Good point. Okay, one more, Craig, because it's somewhat the focus of our poll question. Tanner Pearson has 5 points in 5 games for the Montreal Canadiens, the ex-Canuck. Can you envision him getting his career back on track with the Habs?
I think he's showing signs that he is getting his career on track. Mm-hmm. And when you're looking at Tanner, let's look back at last year. I mean, with the injury, and we started off talking about Quinn Hughes, and Quinn Hughes stood up for Tanner Pearson. I think for 2 reasons. Tanner Pearson was a player that needed a new place. Number 1, salary cap space for the Vancouver Canucks. Number 2, I think that the relationship between the Canucks and Tanner Pearson had become untenable. Yeah. So he gets a new opportunity with the Montreal Canadiens. He's healthy, and certainly he shows all the signs of having his career back on track, which is a good sign for Tanner, and so happy for him.
Next week, Craig, we're going to stagger our guests. So you'll come on for 2 minutes. We'll go to someone else, and then someone else after that. Then you'll be back on in 4 or 5 minutes. So I hope you're okay with that. Thanks for this.
Well, that would be innovative. That would be innovative, right? Like, and you could come on and say, hey, so-and-so, what did you think of the dumb comment Craig just said? And Craig, what's your rebuttal? And go right down the line. We could have a lot of fun with it.
Hey, that's not bad. Oh, I'm marking it down. Talk to you next week, Craig.
Thanks. You have a great day.